everyone, it's me again, Jennifer. Hi. Okay, so I think we left off with I'd gone through chemo and radiation. I've gone through chemo and radiation, but I think I was telling you about having gone through chemo. And I was gonna maybe get into some details about that. Most of it, I just want to say is that with chemo, I told you how I found out that I had cancer. And so I had a complete hysterectomy November 13th, 2019. And then I started chemo in December. It was either right before or right after Christmas. And then I had every 3 weeks, I had a total of 6 chemos. So basically you go in, and I went to the cancer center here in Pensacola area, and it was Sacred Heart. They are amazing. They're just amazing people. And so much so, I'm so impressed with these people that I changed my regular physician to their group. That's how, just totally blown away I am by all their staff. And we haven't met anybody, no doctors, nurses, nobody at all. We have not come across anyone who has been rude or ugly or bad attitude or anything. If anything, we've had people go above and beyond, not just because I have cancer, because it's been, it was a while before I even lost my hair, and before I even looked like I was sick. I think if anything, like right now, I don't think I look like I'm sick. I don't think I really looked like I was sick. I think I looked like I was tired because I was exhausted. I had 2 good days after getting chemo treatment, and basically what they did was, do you remember that the port that I showed you last time? Well, they would plug it in. It's the only other way I know how to say it. Instead of getting an IV through your arm, they would just plug me into this. And if you had to get chemo, they wouldn't give you chemo without having this port in. So I have what's called a power port, and they snap it in place. And yes, it snaps in with a needle that goes through your skin into the port. And then the port has, it looks like a freckle. I know it looks like a freckle. But this spot right here is going to end up being a scar. But this is where I can feel it. Right between here, there's a line that's under the skin. And it goes in right here into my jugular. Or in an artery. I don't know if that's actually where my jugular is or not, but it goes into the main artery. Put it that way. I'm not a medical person. Don't claim to be at all. So if I say something wrong, I'm sorry. So anyway, they went ahead and they plug it in, and then you sit there and you get bags of solution and saline solution, like if you're dehydrated, okay? And then they put in, it looks like syringes, big fat syringes. But I meant to say something. If you see my light flicker, it is not because it's only because my overhead light is on the same thing, electrical, the word escapes me, I'm sorry, electrical, as the rooms across the hall are. We all have window units for air conditioning, because the main air conditioner is so old that it doesn't blow cool enough to cool off the whole house. So we turned that off, and all of us have window units. So the one across the hall, every time their compressor goes on, my overhead light dims. So most of the time I don't have the overhead light on. But someone had said to me that the lighting quality for my videos that I was doing was really, really poor and no one could see me. So every once in a while, it'll dim. It's okay. So getting back to that. So it's an all-day affair pretty much. It's, several hours where you go and sit down, and I'd go in at like 10. I wouldn't get out until like 3 or 4, something like that. So your whole day just might as well bring an ice chest and a picnic basket. Bring some snacks. So if you know anybody who is having to get fluids or anything like that, or having to do something like that, I know people with MS have to do it and get fluids. I know a lot of people who have who are anemic, they have to go get fluids. I was anemic too prior to this because of the endometriosis, but I didn't have to go get fluids. But that's basically what it is. So anyway, after the 2 days, I would have at least the third day would be the day that I would be completely down. Meaning not depressed, I mean physically down. Like I was in bed, asleep, in a lot of pain. None of the pain medications really touched the pain that I was in. I'd wake myself up moaning in pain. It's no bueno. Not a good thing. No. So, and then every day, so if you consider it's kind of like it dips really low as far as the energy is concerned, and then every day after that, slowly but surely, I'd start getting better, feeling better. And, then like about 2 days before I'd have to go back in for another treatment, I'm feeling great. So, of course, that's how that goes. You start feeling better right before you have to go start all over again. So after that, we did 6 months worth of those treatments, pretty much. And then after that, I had a week, maybe 2 weeks reprieve before I had to go in for 25 rounds of radiation. Now, the thing about radiation is I didn't feel anything. The only thing I had was by that time, the chemotherapy had whooped my butt. I had no hair. No eyelashes, no eyebrows, nothing at all. All of my hair was gone. So, it was great. I had to shave, but I start to get stubble on my head, and then it would break off. And so it would be just rough to the touch. So I'd shave my head. Let me tell you, if you have only had your hair maybe short, this is like the shortest I ever cut my hair, back in the 90s, and that hairstyle was really popular for women. That's what I did, and that's as short as I'd ever had it before. And so it's starting to get, I've gotten 2 wigs, and let me tell you, I'm in Florida. I had cool enough weather to where I wore my wigs a few times, and it was comfortable. And then towards, it started getting warm, and towards the middle of the day when it started to get warm, I was going, man, it's like taking off a hat. You take off your hair. Everybody else gets hot, they have to put them up, or what have you. I get hot, I just take off the hair. Yep. I rocked the bald head. I did. At first I thought I couldn't do it, but it was easy. It was okay. At that time I had accepted it, There wasn't anything I can do about it. I had no hair. I have cancer. I'm not ashamed of having cancer. And, about that time I started, because at first I wasn't ashamed of having cancer. The emotions, I talk about the physicalities of it, but the emotions, I want to kind of touch on that for just a second. I'm not going to do this for very long. I've got the puppies outside right now, which is why it's quiet. I want to touch kind of on the emotions, but so just to say real quick, with the radiation, I didn't have the physical problems I did with the chemotherapy. With radiation, it was 25 bouts of radiation that I had to do, and radiation is a lot like having a CAT scan, an MRI, an X-ray. It's that kind of situation where you don't feel it, and that's exactly what it is. You don't feel it. It made me weak, it made me tired and grouchy. Not nearly as bad as chemo, but I was coming off of the chemo and that sapping everything that I had, and now I've had a little bit more energy, but I'm still exhausted. I'm still tired, I'm still achy, my feet still hurt, because I still have a lot of the neuropathy from the chemotherapy drugs. So if you don't know what neuropathy is, it's numbness. I have it in my hands and my feet, and I didn't have this with just the diabetes. When I had just the diabetes, they all kept saying, oh, you're going to have neuropathy. Well, I really didn't have the neuropathy that much with diabetes. I do now because of the cancer, which irritates me, because it hurts. It feels like you have freezer burnt. It's like when your hands and feet are so cold they hurt. That's what it feels like. But with the cancer, because my cancer is endometrial, or uterus, my uterus was affected. They did a complete hysterectomy. I had that done November 13th, and then there goes the light. It was in my brain. I had this whole idea of, okay, well, my cancer isn't as bad as somebody who had leukemia, or somebody who had bone marrow cancer, or another breast cancer, or some other kind of cancer. But the thing that you learn, especially when you're going through chemotherapy, it doesn't matter what kind of cancer you have. The fact is, you have cancer. It's no better, no worse than anyone else at that point. It just doesn't matter. I thought that it did. I don't know why I thought it did. But I thought, well, it could be worse. Of course it could be worse. It can always be worse. And who's to say, and I'm not trying to jinx myself, but, in all honesty, who's to say this is the only time I'm going to experience cancer? My grandfather had several kinds of cancers before he died, and he died of old age. He died of a very old age. So, and there's people who are younger than me who have cancers. That's what St. Jude's all about, for Pete's sake. Children with cancer. So, could this have been worse? Yeah, sure it could. Do I dwell on it? No, I don't dwell on it. Because if I did, I'd drive myself nuts. And who really needs that at the end of the day? The best thing that you can do for someone else who has cancer, because I know someone says cancer, what do you say? I'm sorry you have this. Well, I'm sorry I have it too. But you gotta think about it in a positive way. I mean, I could sit here and bellyache. I could have bellyached. Well, I was going through chemo, and I did a little bit. Daniel heard me fussing about it here and there. But when it comes right down to it, everybody said, and I got tired of hearing it. I did, because there's times when I wanted to say, man, you're not going through this. And there was plenty of times I said it to Daniel. I apologized as soon as I got my wits back about me, but there were plenty of times when I was in a lot of pain and I was throwing up like crazy, and I wasn't, my stomach was rebelling every way it possibly could, and I was or insomnia kicked in to where I didn't sleep for 3 days. I've had that happen. And it's I may not be making much sense right now, but what you can do for somebody else is just try to be as positive as you can. It doesn't, they're hurting. They're either hurting on the inside with their, emotions and their feelings, and they could just be having a really rough day. It makes you more emotional than I can. I mean, the only thing I can liken it to is if you've had children, you're pregnant, if you're a woman, you're pregnant, and you go through that time frame where, the saying goes, you cried at every Hallmark commercial that came on. You cried at the drop of a hat. There's times that happens. Shoot, there's times that happens now. Because I was thrown into menopause on top of everything else. So patience. Patience is definitely the word that I would say, try to have as much patience as you possibly can with someone who's going through this. They get frustrated, and you may want to get angry with them and go, you can't give up. Well, sometimes I just want to say it. I know you don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't mean it. But sometimes you're hurting so much that you just want the pain to stop. You want your feet to quit hurting. You want to be able to stand on your own 2 feet and not feel like a weeble wobble. You want to be able to go, okay, I can walk all around Walmart with a mask on, of course. But come on, I can walk. I used to be able to walk, and everyone else would have to keep up with me because I would be walking too fast. Well, I've gone through where I needed a wheelchair. I have a wheelchair in the back of my truck, my Blazer right now, because there's times when I can't walk at all. There's times when I can walk, but it's difficult, so I also have a walker. So, there's times when I can walk by myself, and I hold Daniel's hand because I want to, not because I'm afraid I'm going to fall down. That's not that often, and it's not for very long, but doggone it, I do it. When you're in this situation, the person who's going through it, and this isn't just cancer, this is a lot of different illnesses. If you're the person going through it, try to remember that many people don't know what you're going through. They can't understand it, and you realistically wouldn't want them to. You wouldn't want them to have to go through what you're going through. And it hurts them to see you hurting. So I think that, if we all can try to be sympathetic to the other person, we've got this COVID thing going on, there's people who are sick with that too. So, gosh forbid they've got that and something else. It's just, kindness. Try to be kind to everybody, no matter what. So I'm going to end this on that note. No, I'm not. I'm going to add one last thing. I'm going to say thank you. Thank you so much to everybody who has donated. I have put a link down on my GoFundMe account for Vimeo, I believe it's called. In case you don't want to do GoFundMe, I have a Vimeo account now. I don't know how to put it on YouTube, and I don't know how to put a link on my Instagram. I have an Instagram too. So I'll post my Instagram account and my YouTube on my Facebook. I'll see if I can maybe figure out how to add those to my YouTube, but I don't know how to do a click here, click here. I will figure that out eventually. But right now we're just doing on the phone. So please like and subscribe. And thank you again for your generosity. And thank you for your kindness. Be kind to others, please, because you never know what kind of day someone else is having. And I'm going to go for now, so thanks. Bye.